Hey, what's up? I'm author Jonathan Fink, and this is my audiobook series. Up next, Spirits of the Gridiron, Volume 1, Chapter 10, The Roots Beneath the Gridiron. Before he became the quarterback of a revolution, Beck Jordan was just a quiet kid growing up on a dirt road outside Wichita, Kansas. The kind of place where the only sound at night was the wind whistling through the wheat fields and the occasional freight train in the distance. His father, Mark Jordan, worked long hours as a foreman at the Gearline Auto Plant, a hulking gray structure that had once symbolized middle class stability. Mark wasn't a man of many words, but when he spoke, it carried the weight of someone who had seen both pride and pain in equal measure. He loved three things: his family, football, and the feeling of the Kansas soil beneath his boots. Most nights, dinner was followed by an hour or two in the den, not in front of Netflix, but in front of an old VHS player and a box of worn out football tapes. The room smelled faintly of pipe tobacco and motor oil. Together, Beck and his father would study the past: Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State, Derek Thomas at Alabama, and always, tapes of Wichita State games from before the program folded. "Watch this," his dad would say, pausing the screen just after kickoff. "That's your granddad, number 17, Joe Jordan. You see how he moves? That's instinct. That's knowing the game before the game knows you." Joe Jordan wasn't just a former player and a college football coach. He was a legend in the Jordan household. The young assistant coach died in the tragic 1970 plane crash that took the lives of most of the Wichita State football team, a story told with quiet reverence and tears. Beck never met him, but in some strange way, he always felt like he knew him. Joe's picture hung in the hallway outside Beck's room, helmet tilted, smile crooked, eyes filled with hope. That picture wasn't just family, it was a calling. Football for Beck was never about the spotlight. It was a ritual, a bond between generations, something spiritual. When other kids dreamed of the NFL, Beck dreamed of throwing a touchdown pass in a snowstorm with his granddad watching from the bleachers, even if only in spirit. By his junior year at Wichita East High School, Beck had developed into a wiry, efficient quarterback. Not flashy, not loud, but precise, calm under pressure. A field general who led without even ever raising his voice. Coaches admired him. Teammates trusted him. Recruiters were unsure. He was undersized. His 40 time was average. He didn't post viral highlights on social media. Then the wind shifted. The factory closed. Mark Jordan came home early one day in April, not with a smile, but with a cardboard box and a pink slip. Gearline was shipping operations overseas. "China," he said flatly, "whole line gone." The entire city was beginning to resemble something out of Ayn Rand's novel, Atlas Shrugged. The Jordans had a decision to make: stay in Wichita and risk everything, or uproot and find a new path. So they moved to Indianola, Iowa, a town of silos and cornfields. Mark took a job managing inventory at a Purina dog food plant. It was honest work, but hard. The family adjusted to smaller rooms and colder winters. Beck was the new kid, the outsider, but he brought football with him like a trusted friend. At Indianola High School, he kept his head down and let his game speak for itself. Quick releases, smart reads, clean footwork. He led comeback drives in the fourth quarter without once pounding his chest. He became the most popular kid in school without even trying. In time, his name found its way onto recruiting boards, not of the Power Five, but of small schools who knew how to recognize the unique intangibles of a quarterback. That's when Simpson College called. A liberal arts school tucked into a quiet Iowa town, Simpson wasn't glamorous, but it had character. They offered free tuition to top local students, and Beck's grades were flawless. The roots of Beck's journey weren't laid on turf or chalk sidelines. They were buried deep beneath the gridiron, in family legacy, unspoken grief, and a sacred love for the game. Before he could lead a movement, before he could resurrect a program, before he could challenge the Dark Lords and the power brokers of the Super Conference, he had to begin his spiritual path. End of Chapter 10. Up next, Chapter 11, The Campus Tour. If you enjoyed this chapter, please give it a like. If you really enjoyed it, please subscribe. You guys take care, and as always, God bless.